pulled out my dusty old Go board to set a little bit of scenery in the background for when I booted up the webcam to cast the California State Go Championship this past weekend. Just put it out on the table just to put a little thematic, environmental, decorative theming, I guess you would say. And I just put it out there, and just holding those stones and laying out a game really, made me like Go a lot more again. And, I've always loved Go, but just having those stones in my hand is such a big part of it. I feel invigorated just touching them and placing them on the board. It's so different from when you're clicking stones into your phone or computer for a correspondence game, or doing Sumego problems that you see online. Just holding the stones and placing them down. Man, that's like the best experience. I don't know. It's different from anything else. And if you're feeling a little uninspired and you haven't picked up a physical stone in a while, try it. It's great. I've been looking at it, and I left it out since then, and I used it to start reviewing a pro game today, and I was kind of just getting into it, and just feels so. It makes you feel so much more connected to the game. You're listening to Starpoint, the show about Go for Go fans away from the board. And just a heads up, just some administrative stuff before we get started with today's episode. This will be the last episode of 2025, and I will be returning with episode 107 on Monday, January 12th, 2026. So it's just going to be a quick break, as I decided, I think season 2 that I would do, just to refresh before we get back into talking about Go. So don't worry, I'll be right back. Hope you can spend some time with your family over the holidays, and maybe catch up on the backlog of Starpoint episodes if you haven't listened to all of them. But those who have been here from the beginning and are eagerly awaiting, I'm sorry, I'll have to leave you, but I think you can take a break from my voice for a few weeks. But anyway, on to the episode. I will be doing sort of a debrief of my experience commentating this past weekend for the California State Go Championship. I had the pleasure of participating in this event. Tin, if you remember, he's been a guest on my show a couple times, from the Mission Viejo Go Club. He's kind of had some experience commentating with certain events, and he thought of me as a potential commentator for this event, and connected me with the amazing team at Paduk Club and the San Diego Go Club. And I was just on board with the idea. I thought it sounded like a great time, and I ended up commentating the first round of the tournament. This tournament was again held in the San Diego Go Club in San Diego. Well, I don't think it wasn't in the actual like Go Club space, but I guess hosted by the Go Club. And it was a lot more enjoyable than I expected it to be. I mean, I thought I would enjoy it, but after doing it, or while doing it, I realized this is actually really fun, and I would definitely do this again. So, I mean, that part of that was the amazing organizational skills of the people involved. I'm just going to give a quick shout out to Enrique, the San Diego Go Club president, who was also the TD for this tournament. Did a wonderful job coordinating everything. And same with Devin Fraze and Jeremiah, who were masterful in their technical prowess for making everything go smoothly. If you had a chance to catch the stream on Twitch, or have had a chance previously, you'll know that they kind of go above and beyond. These transition screens, man, they're something else, and it's that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that goes into it that a lot of the viewers probably aren't even aware of. But just shout out to the whole team, because that's just an amazing thing that they've accomplished to put together this experience for people like me, commentators, guest commentators, to just pop in and get started and stream and just have an easy time doing so. And I had an easy time doing so, and I had a great time doing so. I commentated the first round of the tournament between Guan Yu Song and Yi Hao Man. It was an underdog matchup. And I believe the VOD should still be up on twitch.tv/Paduk Club. It was, I think there was like some kind of glitch where it was named like the MacArthur Go tournament or something. But anyway, you'll see like all the San Diego videos in a row. And it's the first one because I was in the first event, and I commentated with none other than Travis from All Things Go. So it was a podcaster hosted first round. And I think that made things even smoother than usual. Just having this background of talking into a microphone, I think was really like had a lot of synergy with Travis, I think. And he was he had his like questions ready to prompt some discussion, and I was able to just kind of jump in and tackle some of them. And anytime there was silence, he was able to pick up, and it was really good because, you know, we're used to being, well, I'm used to being by myself completely. So it's nice to have somebody to bounce off of. And somebody who has experience. Having a guest on his show, it made everything very, very smooth and very easy. One of the things I loved about commentating was the fact that I could just talk about Go, but without any given format or structure. You know, I've been doing these episodes for a while now, and every time I jump into a podcast, I have some structure or preparation or outline ready to go to just talk about a few points that I want to talk about. But with this, I did not do any of that. I don't know if other people do. I mean, I read up a little bit about some of the contestants and things like that, but no notes to look at really, to dictating what I should say or not. And that was kind of refreshing, and to just kind of go off of what the game was showing, what was happening around me, the topics that were coming up. And the game itself, I felt was kind of a slow ball thrown at me because it was a fairly straightforward game without a lot of complications. And I think that's to be expected with an underdog matchup. But one thing I noticed immediately when I first started commentating with Travis was that they were playing the opening so fast. Like, it was like 20 moves in already after like 30 seconds, and I was not able to commentate on any of the opening moves, just kind of had to do a broad stroke of the whole thing. I did not expect that. I kind of thought going in, I was going to say, oh yeah, the 3-4 point was, you know, used. It's a territorial move, and just kind of comment on the opening choice, but it just flew by. They just kind of skipped the opening, maybe because the time control was a little like fast. It was a 40 minutes plus 15-second Fisher bonus, and I guess that's a pretty fast pace, and you want to kind of build up your time for thinking for later and have that prepared opening ready. But yeah, the whole game was kind of easy to talk through. It was perfect because we wanted to gear the first round at least toward newcomers and beginners, and it gave us a lot of time to do so, to comment on various concepts and introduce basic Go ideas to people. But that is something I noticed. It was very hard to keep up with the game. And that's kind of something I complain about with when I watch Go commentary, that the game is moving on and the commentator's still talking about this one variation from like 30 moves back. And I'm like, I want to know what your thoughts are on the moment. And I guess I got to give it to them because I mean, I was trying to stay with the moments, but it was very hard for a few reasons. One, because they were moving fast at times, and it's just you can't keep up with it. And by the time you say even a word about one move, you're already 5 moves down. Another, because this isn't like a typical pro commentary type of stream where you're getting the top level analysis and all the people watching are like 9 Dan. It needs to be like kind of opened up to the beginners and friendly towards people who don't know what's going on. And that takes a lot of time to kind of explain and break down basic concepts. So a lot of our time was spent explaining some basic concepts about Go to make sure we're opened up to those newer viewers. So yeah, because of all those things, it's really hard to keep up. And also another obstacle to that is that I'm not the strongest Go player, so I won't always have something to say about every move. I won't have the insightful thing, about a normal looking move that I feel like, okay, that looks like a reasonable move, and I don't see any kind of confusing strategy behind it. On the other hand, if I do see something kind of confusing, I often don't know what to say about it, or like why that is. Whereas if you watch something like Paduk TV and you see the commentators who were like ex-pros or ex-Insei, they will always have something to talk about. They'll say that this person left this stone here because of X, Y, and Z reasons. And for me and Travis, we're just kind of like, oh yeah, that stone is left and it's strange. That's all we know about it. We don't know why it's there, but we will tell you that from our experience, it's strange. And you should probably not do it on your own, but these people know what they're doing. Anyway, overall though, the thing is, the game itself was very well suited for all of that, with some space to talk about other things, to slow down and just kind of comment on a few things, because it was, in my opinion, somewhat uneventful. To kind of spoil what happens in the game, Guan Yu-sung took the game, and I think I didn't go back with an AI or anything to analyze this to confirm, but I think there was a pivotal moment where Lee Hao-man made a questionable invasion that gave a lot of influence to Guan Yu. And that influence, Guan Yu immediately took that opportunity and leaned heavily into it, taking the entire center. It was quite amazing to see the tides turn. And I think that in a way, commentating on the game brings you in deeper into appreciating and noticing things about a game, but also takes you away from it. And what I mean by that is, let's say I'm trying to review a game and just for my own personal reasons without commentating or anything, I may not really have the interest to stick through the whole thing, especially when it's when it's live and I can't go at my own pace and I have to just kind of wait around. I mean, I don't know many people who can just sit down, turn on a Go cast, just stare at the thing and I don't know. I guess everyone watching was doing that. But I don't know. I think a lot of people may have it in the background. That's kind of, I think, normal too. Just being interested in what people are saying about the game and catching up, tuning in and out and just kind of looking at it. So on your own, I feel like it can be hard to focus on a certain game. But casting, you have to be on top of it and you're kind of forced to look at the game. And it's more interesting because you're doing something active while you're doing it. Maybe a good way to study a game is to just pretend you're commentating and just watch a game and just kind of comment through it. Maybe a one way to do it if you're not afraid of talking when you're alone. But on the other hand, I think that casting can also take you out of it because you are very distracted by a whole lot of other things. I'm reading chat. I'm solving technical issues sometimes. I'm trying to make sure there's a balance of commentary between this and that. I'm trying to explain various things. And that can kind of make you lose your focus on the actual game at hand. So, I mean, maybe something to improve on. I think that it would be a very different experience if I didn't have Travis with me as a co-host, commenting that first round. The commentator after us, Mirth Turtle, did do a solo job, and it felt very different to me to see someone commentating like alone versus with two people. And I think it's just a different vibe. But they're both good nonetheless. I think that would be an interesting experience to just do alone as well. I think it would allow for a lot more meditation and kind of focus, but maybe not as dynamic. Who knows? Let me see. I feel like commentating this game was really enjoyable because I was able to talk about so many things that I just normally talk about on Starpoint. I talk about various things on Starpoint, and you get me going about Go. I can just keep talking about it, and the fact that there's a game in front of me to talk about, a co-host who was able to throw ideas and questions my way to talk about, and then chat also throwing ideas and questions my way to talk about. It was just like really enjoyable because it's just like, let's keep talking about Go. And it's a very, very enjoyable experience. And I think I very much welcomed that with other people around me, where I'm used to just being here alone and being enthusiastic. My enthusiastic little Go bubble that I have here in my room in front of my microphone that you guys all humor. But yes, anyway, again, like that was a really, really fun experience. I loved talking about the players themselves and just the environment that they were in. I kept on mentioning the Ferrero Rocher on the table. Just little things like that. I think everything surrounding Go is fun to talk about, not just necessarily the Go. One thing that I learned, and I think this is a lesson that I just keep learning, but I feel that when I have certain instincts in Go, I kind of muffle them and I quiet them out, and I kind of just say like, I don't know, that's just kind of like a voice in my head, and I don't really like pay attention to it as if it's like not even there. It's almost like an elephant in the room, my intuition. And then it turns out that intuition was correct. And a stronger player in the chat mentioned something that I felt was something that I felt within myself, but I didn't have like the confidence to say it. And it aligned with a stronger player. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I was right about that, maybe. Because it's really hard when I'm only like 3Q to look at a player and who's much, much stronger than I am, and then just doubt one of their moves, right? It's hard to say like, oh, that's a bad move, right? Because anything they play is 1,000 times better than anything that I play, which may not always really be true, because strength is a very dynamic and hard to define thing. You could have somebody that is like so much stronger than me, but they can still maybe make some decisions that are worse than mine. It may feel unthinkable, but I think that can happen because strength is so multi-dimensional, and the reason they're stronger than I am may be because of X, Y, and Z dimensions. But maybe I have slight edge in A, B, and C dimensions, and I might be able to provide an insight here or there. It's just very hard in the moment to think that I know anything better than any of these players. But, that's how I build confidence, I guess, and I continue to experience certain things where I'm affirmed about certain opinions, and so I can reinforce those opinions and try to have a clearer and more confident mind about it. But all in all, like the whole thing was great. Thank you for anyone who was able to drop by. I saw a few familiar names there. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to give everyone a shout out. I didn't want to kind of divert too much attention to other things, but I definitely saw some of you guys there. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I hope everybody involved enjoyed it. I think the competition, or the tournament rather, went well overall. Enrique told me that they were going to beat the allegations and start on time. They did. They absolutely did not start on time, but they were pretty good. I think it was like 30 minutes late or something. I remember going to a tournament that was like 2 hours late, and it's just kind of like, oh man. I mean, it's really hard because they have people coming in late. They have certain things coming up, some problems. They have the pairing that they still need to do. They have technical issues. It's so much stuff, but I'm sure as the years go by and people have more experience with things like that, they're able to start. I wonder if anyone from the chess community who goes to chess tournaments, do you guys see the same thing happen at chess tournaments, or is it specifically a Go tournament thing? As Go games are also very long, which is I think part of the reason why 40 minutes plus Fischer 15 seconds was the thing, was the time setting for this tournament. Maybe we'll see more of that. Maybe that makes things a little easier to manage. But yeah, as you can tell, I had a great time. I hope everyone else did. Big shout out to everybody who helped with the event. It was a blast. If you're a longtime listener of the show, you probably know that I like to watch hockey. And something that I really admire is the ability of the commentators to just dynamically keep up with all the things going on in the game and know so much about what's going on, and they're able to just smoothly transition from topic to action point and bounce off each other, providing insights. They're doing so much all the time. And I'm in awe of the players, and I'm also simultaneously in awe of the way the commentators describe everything. And it's just something that I've always appreciated. So it was really nice to be able to try that out, because I'm kind of adjacent, right? As a podcaster, I do talk about a game, but I kind of talk about various topics. So it's more like a radio host type thing if you're talking about old school broadcasting positions. But commentating itself, to be honest, like Go is a lot slower than hockey. And so, but there are a lot of things going on. Like maybe one Go move has like 20 things you have 20 things to say about it. Whereas in a game of hockey, of course you can always expand and analyze to death, right? But, it's kind of different. It's just different. And I really enjoyed this, as you can tell. Would do it again. If you're interested in something like this, if you would do it, I think I would invite you to just start up a YouTube channel, talk about some Go, and upload those videos, review some games, get a nice mic, make sure your audio is in check. And who knows, the opportunity may come knocking, as it did for me. It's kind of crazy. But now it's time for the DDK Advice Corner, and the tip of the day is: influence is a sleeping giant. Now, this DDK Advice Corner was inspired by some of the conversations that I had with Travis during commentary, and one of those topics was influence. It's like, what is influence and how do you use it? And I was telling Travis that I don't know how to use it, but what I do know is that if you leave it alone and you just kind of back away from it and do something else, then it will come into play. It will help you out later on. And that's maybe the best way to learn how to use influence, is just try not to use it so much. I think when we first start, we have this wall, and you're like, okay, now I got to do something with that wall. And you're like, I'm going to make a box with the wall. I'm going to do this with the wall. I'm going to try to push my opponent. And, some of those ideas may be somewhat valid, but I found that the strongest use of my influence was always when I ignored that influence and I just happened to stumble upon it. And I still remember this one game that I had. That was a very memorable game. I don't remember many games. There are just a few that I have in my head that I remember certain moments from. But this one was very, very memorable to me. It was a Fox game, and I had decided that I would not be so aggressive because I had been told I was so aggressive. And I spent the entire game trying to just defend. and solidify things and back off of things. And what do you know? My opponent died hugely on the board because I had some influence here and there that I had just left alone. And my opponent was just trying to kill everything. And all I was trying to do was make sure I was solid everywhere throughout the board. And my opponent backed himself into a corner to the point where I didn't even realize that I was attacking that group. I wasn't even trying to. And it killed itself because it was surrounded by me. And I was just, wow, that was great. And I want more like that. And so that was a huge game for me. So the tip of the day, really reinforcing it, is that influence can be a sleeping giant. You don't always have to do something with it. Just allow the giant to sleep, and one day it will wake up and help you out. And now it's time for listener mail. Luke writes, "Hi, Justin. I wanted to chime in on the Super DDK ranks on OGS. Yes, this is in a previous episode I mentioned not seeing any 30 plus Q ranks. Like 30Q must be the lowest rank on OGS, right? Here's a screenshot from my account. There are ranks beyond 30Q on OGS, but my understanding is that this is a mathematical aberration of their ranking system. Anyways, I hope that answers why some users are reporting these high numbers. All my best, Luke." And I see that... Oh, I see a huge list of 38Q, 37Q, 48Q. I think that's the lowest that I see here. But most of these... Oh man, I want to see the actual players, because I think most of these are entirely against Agapanthus, the bot, which is a 25Q bot, and Amy Bot Beginner, which is 25Q. And I want to see the humans. Where are the humans? I'm going to look this up. Oh, see that you? I see that you circled a 25Q rank here. Just wanted to grab a game that was shown in the listed games for sure, and as an example, to show the 25Q rank on the outside versus 39Q rank I could see inside my profile, as a concrete example. Oh, okay, so it's a bit of an aberration as you described. So what I'm seeing is that in the list, like the game history list, you see these giant ranks, 48Q. But if you go directly into the profile and like into an actual game, they're more like 25Q. So anyway, that is an interesting thing. Let me do a little bit of a sidebar here, a slight rant about OGS ranks that I've never really been able to solve. Okay. A few years ago, there was a rank reset on OGS, and it retroactively changed ranks. And I was able to clear SDK with this rank reset. But anyway, there's a bunch of rank changes. The algorithm was changed. But something that I noticed was if you go to historical games, if you go to old games, you'll see a different rank in the chat. And I know the chat is always just kind of trying to, when you chat something into the Go game chat, it captures what your rank is at that time. So let's say you're one rank in the beginning of the game and you're a different rank at the end of the game. If you chat in the beginning of the game and the end of the game, you're gonna have that reflected in the chat where your username shows up, and it may be different from what you see up above where your profile is next to the game board. So that can account for some discrepancy, but retroactively everything was changed, and I so go to the historical games where I was let's say 12Q in that game. That game is now saying that I was a 10Q, for example. And so I go into that game and I see 10Q on my profile next to that game. But then if I go in the chat, it's a different rank. I don't remember if it was higher or lower, but let's say that I go into the chat. My chat in that game was like 8Q. And I don't know why that's inconsistent. And it's like, I know that's not because I improved to 8Q and later on I chatted. No, these are chats that I did within the game. So I don't know why that inconsistency is there, and I don't know which one is the true historical rank according to the current system. I'm assuming it is the one at the next to the game board, but if somebody could solve that for me, that would be great. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're free to ignore me. But anyway, yeah, that's a weird thing. OGS does have a few of these weird things happen. If you think you're a 40Q, let me just tell you that you're not. Let's just as a Go community agree that no human being can be lower than 30Q. 40Q reserved for dogs. Yeah? Okay. So, thank you for that insight, Luke, and thanks for writing in. Next we have Quasimir writes, episode 105 had me almost crashing my bike when I heard your musing about what would happen to babies who grow up without any other humans around them. Will they somehow become bipedal by themselves? I was like, no, they just die. Man, I kind of remember talking about that. What episode was that? Why was I talking about it? I must have been talking about learning, but I still don't know the answer to that question. Okay, let's say you're right. Babies can't really survive on their own. Human babies, at least, they're kind of built pretty squishy and not able to raise themselves. But okay, let's just try to work with me and provide some kind of hypothetical scaffolding so that you can humor my question without seeing other human beings. Let's say there's like a fairy caretaker, and the fairy doesn't have a body. The fairy, you can't tell it's like a two-legged, bipedal thing. It's just like this orb of light, like a Zelda fairy, right? And this fairy provides protection and nutrients. Does the baby learn how to walk on two legs? That's the question. Now you have a link here. Evergreen Psychotherapy Center, the importance of touch. Okay, so this, I guess, is a link in reference to how important it is for babies to be touched. Let's say the fairy also provides the touch to the baby that it really needs from a mother or a father. I'll provide this link to anyone who's interested in the description. Continuing, but trying to come up with convincing analogies is always tough, especially with Go. With regards to the question of how babies actually learn to walk, I can recommend this amazing Netflix documentary. Cool. I will also link this in the description, Baby's First Steps on Netflix. Very interesting. I'm glad you didn't actually crash your bike. Another question would be if you were raised in a tribe of bikers who only biked around, would the baby actually learn to walk, or would they just start on the tricycle? That remains to be seen. Thanks for writing in. And I always like to hear about people doing various things while listening to Starpoint, whether they're jogging or biking or cooking or whatever. So it's always fun to, had a train conductor also write in way back as well. That's also an interesting one. Greenstone Paduk writes, don't forget to talk about Capture Go for beginners. Introducing newbies to Go by explaining life and death just turns people off in my experience. Territory is fundamentally a more complex concept than capture, which is why we teach it first. It's only once students ask, but wait, what happens if the board is full and nobody captures? Or they start thinking about eye shapes for themselves that they can be explained, and any earlier will overwhelm them. Yeah, totally. Go is so complicated, so easy to overwhelm people. Because once you're a seasoned Go player, you basically have this game downloaded as a packet in your brain, and it's just like this little thing. It's just like, oh yeah, it's simple. You just have to, just play stones black and white, and then just make sure you have territory and influence and have eyes, and there's things called ko, and there's false eyes as well. You got to do 1-point jumps, you got to do learn to Joseki, and that's how you play Go. It's really easy to overwhelm beginners, and Capture Go is a way to not only help the beginners, but to help us as teachers to not go overboard. And this I've illustrated to work because I think when I taught my wife Go, we started playing Capture Go, And then we started playing the next level of Capture Go, which is capture more than one stone, or just keep going and try to capture more stones. And then after we just kept playing, she was like, "Is this Go?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is." And that's basically it. And it's just like, that's how you teach how to play Go. Of course, many questions afterwards, but you can answer those questions because you have a framework, a foundation of understanding of what actual Go looks like. So thanks for writing in, Greenstone Paduk. And then Sadaharu writes, now that you mention it, the number of newbie posts on Reddit seems to be increasing, which is definitely a good thing. Yeah, I've noticed that. I've totally noticed that. I'm glad you're noticing as well. The number of users on our Paduk is also increasing, so we may be heading towards a good direction. On that, the thing is that subreddits are always increasing. I think, right? As long as you're not like dwindling, like super like niche social community, which I don't want to put our Paduk in that category. Is it increasing at an increasing rate? That's my question. Continuing, however, the fact that so many newbies are asking similar questions is that it may be difficult for them to find the answers for themselves. So maybe we need to think how we can help them with that. Maybe an FAQ for newbies, or maybe it's time to consider creating our Paduk for beginners, just like chess. I didn't know that chess had one of those. Is there a chess? There's a chess for beginners? That's cool. Maybe we should have one. Although, you're just going to see a lot of people get commented, this belongs in Paduk for beginners. But I think that our Paduk is small enough that we do want just more posts in general, rather than trying to direct people to other things. I enjoy seeing the newbies, and I think a lot of people do enjoy helping out, continuing. But the current community is already very welcoming to beginners, so maybe that's not needed. I think that's one good thing about the Go community, smiley face. Yeah, I think that's also a product of it not being as popular. I think the more popular something becomes and more appealing to the masses it becomes, there are a lot more jerks in that community. You know, I go to the video game communities, I go to the hockey communities, and man, they're not nice. They're really not nice. Not like the Go people. The Go people are just here studying and having fun and just like saying, hey, yeah, of course, I'll teach you the game. And like people ask the dumbest questions and they're like, yeah, sure, this is how you do it. This is what you're missing. And it's great. And, as much as a lot of us hope that Go is more popular and more mainstream, enjoy yourselves at this moment, because this community, like the KGS folks will remember, right? Things don't last forever. You'll be playing on KGS, kind of enjoying your time and thinking, I wish Go was more popular. I wish there was a better server. And then boom, a new server comes up. KGS starts getting crusty. People start leaving. And what happened to the KGS community? It's gone. I'm sure there's some left, of course, keeping the flame alive. But as with everything, things just kind of change all the time. And something I also kind of emphasize when I talk about when you feel like you want to get to the next rank so badly. But for me, I have a little bit of loss, a sense of loss in the times when I was a lower rank. Those games are actually so fun, so exciting. And the concepts you learn, you can only learn them once. It's like playing a video game that you can only play once. Certain ones like are more story-oriented and such. Or, books. I guess you can always reread books, but it's not the same depending on what kind of book it is. So like if you're a certain rank, enjoy the games at that rank. Watch the things that are happening at that rank, because they won't happen later on when you're better at the game. So just kind of like where you are, whether it's in Go or in life, it might be a good idea to slow down and just kind of appreciate the things around you. That's my Thanksgiving message for the month. The question of the week, though, this week, what would you like to see in Go commentating or streaming? Do you have any complaints about how people commentate games? Do you have any kind of fantasies of like advanced commentating? or what kind of streaming content would you like to see? Like, what ideas do you have for people who are talking while watching a game of Go? So if you want to share your thoughts on that question, or if you have a Go story to share, want to ask me something, leave a comment wherever you found this question, or email me directly at startpointbaduk@gmail.com. That's startpointbaduk@gmail.com. If you're a YouTube listener, I would greatly appreciate a like and a subscribe. If you're a podcast listener, reviews and ratings also help. A very, very special thank you, as always, to James B., Brendan S., Tristan, Jeff H., and Tyraniton for supporting Starpoint. If you want to support the show, go to kofi.com/startpointbaduk. That's KO-FI, or check out the Starpoint store at store.starpointbaduk.com. And come on over and join the Discord. The water is warm. You can find the link in the description. And just as a final reminder, this is the final episode of 2025. I will see you guys all after the break. But before you go, and just to remind you when the next episode is coming back, it's going to be January the, what was it? I lost my date here. January 12th. Mondays, as always. So January 12th, I will see you guys in the new year. But, I was telling my friend the other day that I casted a game of Go. And he was like, oh, me too. What kind of rod did you use? I snapped like 3 of them because the Goban was so heavy. All right. Happy holidays, everyone. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'll see you guys on the other side, 2026. Thank you so much for listening. Keep playing Go.